the humble waitress, and the doctor's heart. Warning: this story explores themes of sacrifice, destiny, and unexpected love. Subscribe now and hit the like button if you're ready to be moved. "It can't be," Camilla whispered, watching Sebastian connected to the hospital monitors. You're the doctor who—" "Camilla, right?" Sebastian's voice was weak but surprised. "The waitress from Cafe Luna." "Yes, but—" Tears began to roll down her cheeks. "I don't understand what's happening." "Dr. Gomez," Sebastian called to the doctor who had just entered. "Can you explain to Camilla what you told me yesterday?" Dr. Patricia Gomez looked at both of them with confusion before understanding the situation. "Ms. Restrepo, the blood you donated 3 days ago saved Dr. Morales' life. He suffered a heart attack during surgery." Camilla swayed. Her legs couldn't hold her. "But I just wanted to help my brother. I never thought—" "Please, sit down." Sebastian tried to sit up in bed. "We need to talk." 3 days earlier, Camilla's life had been completely different. Like every morning, she woke up at 5 for Boaz to prepare Diego's breakfast before heading to her shift at Cafe Luna. Her younger brother was studying medicine at the University of Antioquia, and she worked 2 jobs to pay for it. "Did you study for your cardiology exam?" she asked him while serving scrambled eggs. "Yes, sister. Thanks for everything you do for me." Diego hugged her. "Someday, I'm going to pay you back for all of this. You don't owe me anything. Just focus on being the best doctor you can be." The day had passed normally at the cafe. Camilla waited tables, smiled at customers, and saved every peso in tips. During her break, she received the call that would change everything. "Camilla? It's Roberto, Diego's classmate. There was an accident. A motorcycle." The phone fell from her hands. She ran to the hospital without even taking off her cafe uniform. At San Vicente Hospital, she found Diego conscious, but with leg injuries. "It's not serious," the doctor told her, "but he needs surgery. The problem is we're short on O-negative blood." "I'm O-negative." Camilla immediately stood up. "You can use mine, miss." "You look very tired. When was the last time you ate?" "That doesn't matter. My brother needs me." The nurse led her to the blood bank. As they drew her blood, Camilla felt dizzy, but happy to be able to help. "Your blood is going to save lives," the nurse told her. "There's a doctor in surgery who needs it urgently." Camilla didn't ask any more questions. She stayed in the waiting room, waiting for news of Diego. The exhaustion of working double shifts and not having eaten all day finally overcame her. When she woke up, she was in a hospital bed. "Don't worry," a nurse told her. "You fainted from exhaustion. Your brother is fine. He's already out of surgery." Camilla smiled with relief. She didn't know that at that very moment, 3 floors above, a doctor named Sebastian Morales was fighting for his life after suffering a heart attack during open-heart surgery. Dr. Sebastian Morales was known throughout Medellin as the best cardiovascular surgeon in the city. At 32, he had saved hundreds of lives, but his own life had been empty since his fiancée left him for a richer man. That night, during a complicated surgery, stress and exhaustion finally took their toll. His heart stopped in the operating room. "We need O-negative blood now," Dr. Gomez shouted. "It's the only way to save him." Camilla's blood arrived just in time. While she slept downstairs, her blood ran through the veins of a man she didn't know, keeping him alive. When Sebastian woke up 3 days later, the first thing he asked was about the donor. "It was a young woman," Dr. Gomez explained. "She fainted after donating. Her blood saved your life, Sebastian. Can I meet her? That's against hospital rules, but she's here visiting her brother. Maybe it's fate." And so, in a hospital room, 2 completely different worlds met. Camilla, the waitress who worked day and night for her brother, and Sebastian, The successful doctor who had forgotten how to love. "I don't know what to say," Camilla murmured, still in shock. "Thank you." Sebastian looked into her eyes. "Thank you for giving me a second chance at life." At that moment, neither of them knew that this encounter would change their lives forever. A growing connection. "I can't accept this." Camilla pushed the envelope of money back towards Sebastian. "I already did what I had to do." "Please, it's just to help with your brother's expenses," Sebastian insisted from his hospital bed. "Let me do something for you. Dr. Morales, I'm not looking for anything in return. My brother is fine. You're alive. That's enough." 2 days had passed since they met. Sebastian was recovering quickly, but he couldn't stop thinking about the woman who had saved his life. Camilla visited him every morning before going to work, bringing him coffee and chatting about simple things. "Why does your brother study medicine?" Sebastian asked her during one of her visits. "Because he wants to help people," Camilla smiled. "He always says doctors are like angels, especially doctors like you." "I'm no angel, Camilla. I'm just a man who almost died from overworking. Don't you have family?" Camilla's question touched a wound that Sebastian preferred to keep closed. "My parents died years ago. And no, I don't have a wife or children." "Why not?" "Because people change when they know how much money you have." Camilla looked at him sadly. "Not all people are the same, doctor." When Sebastian was discharged from the hospital, he felt strangely empty. The past few days talking with Camilla had been the calmest he'd had in years. "Dr. Gomez," he said to his colleague, "I need to find that woman." "Sebastian, you already know her. Her name is Camilla Restrepo." "No, it's not enough. I need to know more about her. Where exactly does she work?" "At Cafe Luna in the neighborhood." "But Sebastian, be careful. She comes from a very different world than yours." Sebastian ignored the warning. The next day, after checking on his patients, he drove to the neighborhood. Cafe Luna was a small and cozy place, very different from the elegant restaurants he frequented. He sat at a corner table and waited. When he saw Camilla come out of the kitchen with a tray, his heart quickened. She looked tired, but beautiful, with her hair tied back and her uniform impeccable. "Can I help you?" A different waitress approached his table. "Just a coffee, please." Sebastian watched Camilla work. She was kind to all customers, patient with children, and always had a genuine smile. When he finished his coffee, he left a generous tip and left without her seeing him. The next day, he returned, and the next, too. For 2 weeks, Sebastian visited the cafe every day, always sitting at a table not in Camilla's section. He watched her work, admiring her dedication and warmth with people. Camilla, for her part, had noticed the elegant man who came every day, but never sat at her tables. He seemed familiar, but she couldn't remember from where. "That man comes every afternoon," she commented to her colleague Rosa. "He always leaves a very good tip." "He's handsome," Rosa smiled, "and obviously has money. Why don't you talk to him?" "Don't be ridiculous. Men like him don't notice women like me." One afternoon, Sebastian arrived earlier than usual. The cafe was full, and all the tables in the other sections were occupied. He had no choice but to sit in Camilla's section. When she approached with the menu, she froze. "Dr. Morales?" "Hello, Camilla. What are you doing here?" "I came for the coffee. I've heard it's very good." Camilla looked at him suspiciously. "How long have you been coming here?" "For a few weeks," Sebastian admitted. "I like this place." "Or do you like to watch me?" "It's not that. Doctor, you and I have nothing to do with each other. I already did my part. Please, let me work in peace." Sebastian felt as if he had been slapped. He got up, left money on the table, and left without saying a word. That night, Camilla couldn't sleep. She felt bad for being so harsh with Sebastian, but she was also confused. Why would a successful doctor come to a humble cafe every afternoon? The next day, Sebastian didn't appear, nor the next. Camila found herself looking for him among the customers, feeling strangely empty. "Are you waiting for someone?" Rosa asked her. "No," Camila lied. "I'm just working." After a week without seeing him, Camila realized that she had begun to miss his visits. There was something in the way he looked at her that made her feel special, as if she were the only person in the world. Sebastian, meanwhile, had returned to his usual routine. Working late, coming home alone, eating dinner in front of the TV. But every time he passed through the neighborhood, he felt tempted to enter the cafe. "You're acting like a teenager," he told himself. "She's right. We have nothing in common." But no matter how hard he tried to forget her, he couldn't get the image of Camila smiling at him from her hospital bed, telling him that doctors were like angels, out of his mind. One night, after a particularly difficult surgery, Sebastian found himself driving towards the cafe. He knew it would be closed, but he needed to feel close to her somehow. To his surprise, the lights were on. Through the glass, he saw Camila cleaning the tables, alone. Without thinking twice, he knocked on the door. Camila looked up and saw Sebastian on the other side of the glass. For a moment, neither of them moved. "We're closed," she yelled through the door. "I know, can we talk?" Camila hesitated for a moment before opening the door. "What do you want, doctor?" "To apologize and to explain why I was coming to the cafe. You have 5 minutes. I have to finish cleaning." Sebastian entered and sat at the same table where he had been last time. "I wasn't coming to watch you, Camila. I was coming because when I was in the hospital, talking to you, I felt at peace for the first time in years." Camila stopped cleaning and looked at him. "Dr. Morales." "Sebastian. Just Sebastian. Sebastian, you and I live in different worlds. You are a successful surgeon. I am a waitress who can barely pay for her brother's university. And what does that matter? It matters a lot. People like you don't mix with people like me." "People like me?" Sebastian stood up. "Do you know what kind of person I really am? I'm someone who worked so hard I almost died. Someone who had no one in the hospital except the doctors who treated me. Someone who had forgotten how to smile until a waitress brought him coffee and told him about her brother." Sebastian's words touched something deep in Camila. "Why me?" she whispered. "Because when you donated your blood, you gave me more than red cells. You gave me hope." Camila felt tears threaten to fall. "I can't do this," she said, turning away. "Do what? Fall in love with you?" The confession hung in the air. Sebastian approached slowly. "What if I've already fallen in love with you?" A brother's crisis. Before Camila could respond, her phone rang. It was Diego. "Sister, can you come home? I don't feel well." Camila ran towards the door. "I have to go. My brother—" "I'll take you." Sebastian followed her. During the car ride, Camila explained that Diego had been feeling tired lately. "It's probably stress from exams." She tried to calm herself. When they arrived at the small house where the siblings lived, they found Diego pale and feverish. "How long have you been feeling like this?" Sebastian asked him, taking his pulse. "A week, more or less. I thought it was the flu." "We need to take him to the hospital, now." At the hospital, after several tests, the doctor who treated Diego gave them devastating news. "He has a rare blood disorder. He needs immediate treatment, but it's very expensive." Camila collapsed into a chair. "How much does it cost?" "Approximately 50 million pesos. "I don't have that amount." Camila began to cry. "I have nothing." Sebastian hugged her as she broke down. "We're going to find a way," he whispered. "I promise you." The next few days were a nightmare. Diego worsened, and Camila desperately tried to get the money. She asked for loans, sold everything of value she had. She even considered quitting her jobs to find something that paid better. Sebastian visited her every day at the hospital. He brought her food, coffee, and, above all, support. "You don't have to do this," Camilla told him. "We're nothing to you." "You're everything to me," he replied. A week later, Camilla received a call from the hospital. "Ms. Restrepo, we have good news. Your brother has been accepted into a medical scholarship program that covers all his treatment." Camilla couldn't believe it. "What program? I didn't apply for any program. Someone else did it on his behalf. It's anonymous, but the treatment is completely paid for." That night, Camilla confronted Sebastian in his apartment. "It was you, wasn't it?" Sebastian didn't deny anything. "How could you?" Camilla yelled at him. "How could you do this to me?" "Do what? Save your brother's life? Turn me into your charity? Make me feel like I owe you something?" "You don't owe me anything, Camilla. I did it because I love you." "No, you did it because you feel guilty. Because you think you owe me something for the blood." "That's not true." "No." Camilla looked at him with pain. "You would have done the same if I hadn't been your donor." Sebastian couldn't respond immediately, and that silence was enough for Camilla. "That's what I thought," she said. "This is over, Sebastian. I don't want to see you again. Camilla, please." "No. Tomorrow I'm quitting the cafe and we're moving. I don't want you to feel obligated to take care of us for the rest of your life." And with those words, Camilla left Sebastian's apartment, taking his heart with her. The next day, when Sebastian went to the cafe, he was told that Camilla had resigned and that they didn't know where to find her. For the first time in his life, Sebastian Morales felt completely lost. A fateful reconnection 6 months had passed since Camilla disappeared from Sebastian's life. Diego had fully recovered and was back at university, stronger than ever. Camilla had found work at a restaurant on the other side of the city, Rincón de Abuela, where no one knew her. "Sister, you have to talk to him," Diego told her every time the subject came up. "Sebastian saved my life." "You saved yourself. He just paid the bills. That's not fair, and you know it." Camilla had enrolled in night classes for business administration. Her dream of opening her own restaurant had grown stronger after everything she had been through. She worked by day and studied by night, keeping herself busy so as not to think about Sebastian. But it was useless. Every time she saw a man in a suit, every time she passed a hospital, every time someone mentioned the word doctor, her heart raced. Sebastian, for his part, had completely changed. After losing Camilla, he had realized that he needed to do something meaningful with his life. He had started working in free clinics on weekends, attending to people who couldn't afford medical consultations. "What happened to you?" Dr. Gomez asked him one day. "You're different. I learned that saving lives in a private hospital isn't enough. There are people who need help and can't pay for it. This has to do with that girl, doesn't it?" Sebastian didn't answer, but his silence said it all. One afternoon, as Sebastian finished his shift at a free clinic in Camilla's neighborhood, he saw her walking down the street with books in her hand. His heart stopped. Camilla also saw him. For a moment, they just stared at each other across the street. She quickly turned and left. Sebastian didn't follow her, but that night he couldn't sleep. Knowing that she was so close and yet so far away was torture. The next day, Diego appeared in Sebastian's office. "Doctor, I need to talk to you." "Diego, how are you? You look great." "Thanks to you. But I didn't come to talk about my health. I came to talk about my sister." "Diego, no, let me talk. Camilla is suffering. She tries to hide it, but I know her. She spends all her time working and studying so she doesn't think about you. She was very clear. She doesn't want to see me. She's scared." "Scared of what?" "That you only feel guilty for her. That you see her as your charity project. That one day you'll get tired and abandon her like your fiancé did to you." Diego's words hit Sebastian like a punch. I know, but she doesn't. Camilla has taken care of me her whole life. She's never thought about herself. When someone wants to take care of her, she doesn't know how to react. Diego stood up to leave. Doctor, I'm graduating next month. The university is organizing a blood drive. They're going to need volunteer doctors. And they're going to need donors. People who understand the importance of saving lives. Diego left a flyer on the desk. Maybe it's time for both of you to remember why you met. A week later, Camila received a call from Diego. Sister, I need a favor. The university is organizing a blood drive and they need volunteers. Can you come? Diego, I work at... Please, it's important to me. Plus, you'll be able to donate blood again. Remember how good you felt the last time you saved a life. Camila couldn't refuse. A second chance for love and life. Saturday morning, she headed to the university. There were dozens of people lined up to donate blood, and several doctors helping with the process. When it was her turn, she lay down on the stretcher and closed her eyes. She felt the needle in her arm and began to relax. Thanks for coming, Camila. She opened her eyes and saw Sebastian standing by her stretcher, checking her blood pressure. What are you doing here? I'm volunteering, just like you. This is a trap. No, it's a coincidence, or maybe fate. Camila tried to get up, but Sebastian gently stopped her. Please don't leave. Just let me talk. There's nothing to say. Yes, there is. These last few weeks I've been working in free clinics. Not out of guilt, not out of charity, but because you taught me that there's more to life than just being successful. Camila looked at him with tears in her eyes. Sebastian, I didn't pay for Diego's treatment because I felt obligated. I did it because when you love someone, you love their family too. And I love you, Camila. Not because of the blood you donated to me, but because of the woman you are. Before Camila could respond, Diego appeared running. Camila! Sebastian! I have to tell you something. What's wrong? Camila asked worriedly. I've been accepted into an exchange program in Barcelona. It's a full scholarship to study cardiology. Camila froze. When? In 2 months, but I'm not going. Why not? Because I can't leave you alone, sister. Camila looked at Diego, then at Sebastian, and finally understood that the time had come to make the most important decision of her life. Of course you're going, Camila exclaimed, sitting up on the stretcher. Are you crazy? It's the opportunity of a lifetime. But sister, you've sacrificed everything for me. I can't leave you now. Diego Restrepo. Camila stood up and took him by the shoulders. If you don't take that scholarship, I'll never forgive myself. I worked all these years so you could be a doctor, not so you'd stay here taking care of me. But no buts. You're going to Barcelona, and you're going to be the best cardiologist in Colombia when you come back. Sebastian watched the scene in silence, once again admiring Camila's generosity. Okay, Diego smiled, but on one condition, that you two sort out your problems once and for all. Diego, Camila began. No, sister. I've been watching you two suffer these past few months. Sebastian comes to the university every week asking about you, and you mention his name at least 5 times a day. That's not true, Camila protested, blushing. Oh, really? Yesterday you said the coffee at the restaurant wasn't as good as a certain doctor's. The day before yesterday, you asked if I had seen the news about a certain surgeon who was working in free clinics. Sebastian couldn't help but smile. Do you really do that? Shut up, Camila murmured, getting redder. Well, I'll leave you to talk. Diego walked away, winking at them. I have to keep organizing the donation. Camila and Sebastian were left alone among all the people coming and going, donating blood. So you ask about me, Sebastian said with a smile. Don't gloat. I just worry about all my patients. Am I your patient? You are my patient. That doesn't change. Camila, these months without you have been the longest of my life. Sebastian, please don't. No, let me finish. I know I made mistakes. I know I should have talked to you before paying for Diego's treatment, but I didn't do it out of guilt or charity. Charity? Then why? Because when you love someone, you can't stand by and watch them suffer. And I love you, Camilla. I loved you before I even knew you were my donor." Camilla felt tears beginning to roll down her cheeks. "How can you be sure?" "Because every day I came to the cafe, my day got better just by seeing you smile. Because when we talked at the hospital, for the first time in years, I felt complete. Because—" Sebastian paused. Camilla was looking at him in a way he hadn't seen before. "Because what?" "Because when I think about my future, I can't imagine it without you." Camilla's tears were now flowing freely. "I love you too," she whispered. "But I'm so scared, Sebastian." "Of what?" "That you'll get tired of me. That one day you'll realize you can have any woman, and that I'm not enough." Sebastian took her hands. "Camilla, for 2 years I was with someone who was supposedly in my class. Do you know what happened? She left me for someone with more money. You donated your blood to me without knowing me. You work day and night for your brother, and you have the biggest heart I've ever known. If anyone isn't enough here, it's me. Sebastian, give me a chance. Give me a chance to prove to you that this is real." At that moment, a commotion was heard near the university entrance. An older man had fainted, and people were shouting for help. Without thinking twice, Sebastian ran towards the man. Camilla followed him. "Sir, can you hear me?" Sebastian knelt beside the man. "His pulse is weak. Camilla, I need you to call an ambulance." While Camilla made the call, Sebastian began to give the man first aid. Diego appeared with a portable defibrillator from the university. "His heart stopped," Sebastian said. "We need to resuscitate him." For the next 10 minutes, Sebastian and Diego worked together to save the man. Camilla coordinated with the paramedics and kept the crowd away. When the man finally opened his eyes and began to breathe normally, everyone applauded. "Thank you, doctor," the man said to Sebastian in a weak voice. "You saved my life." "It wasn't just me." Sebastian looked at Camilla and Diego. It was teamwork. As the paramedics took the man to the hospital, Camilla approached Sebastian. "That was incredible. You worked as if you had been colleagues all your lives." "That's how it should be," Sebastian said. "That's how we could be. A team. Us, you, me, Diego when he comes back from Barcelona. A family." Camilla looked him in the eyes, and for the first time in months, allowed herself to believe that they could have a future together. "A family?" "Yes," Sebastian smiled. "A family that started with a blood donation and can continue saving lives together." Diego approached them smiling. "You've made up, because I have a plane to catch in 2 months, and I'd like to see my sister happy before I go." Camilla looked at Sebastian, then at her brother, and finally smiled. "I think so," she said. "I think we're finally ready to try." And for the first time in months, the three hugged as the family they had always been destined to be. A dream realized, heart and soul. It can't be real. Camilla looked at the sign with tears in her eyes. Heart and soul, owner, Camilla Restrepo. It's completely real. Sebastian smiled nervously. It's yours. 4 months had passed since the blood donation at the university. Sebastian had spent that time gradually earning Camilla's trust, with simple dates, long conversations, and small gestures that showed he truly knew her. But Sebastian, this must have cost a fortune. I can't accept it. It's not a gift. It's an investment. In you, in us, in your dream. Camilla walked through the small restaurant. It had a capacity for 40 people, a modern kitchen, and warm decor that screamed home everywhere. How did you know exactly what I wanted? Because for months I heard you talk about your dream, a place where families could come to eat homemade food at fair prices, a place that felt like Grandma's house. Diego, who had been exploring the kitchen, came out with a huge smile. Sister, this is perfect. You have everything you need to start, but I don't know how to run a business. I only know how to cook and wait tables. That's why you're studying administration, Sebastian reminded her. And that's why I'll be here to help you with everything you need. What about your job at the hospital? I've been thinking about that. See that space next door? Sebastian pointed to a door that connected to the adjacent premises. What's there? It's going to be a free clinic. I thought we could work together. You feed the body. I take care of the heart. Camilla couldn't believe what she was hearing. Are you going to quit your job at the private hospital? I'm going to reduce my hours. I'll work part-time there and part-time here. It's time for me to do something that truly matters. Sebastian, it's too much. Do you know what's too much? Sebastian approached her. Too much is having lived 32 years without knowing you. Too much is having been on the verge of dying without having truly loved. This isn't too much, Camila. This is just the beginning. Diego coughed exaggeratedly. Can I interrupt this romantic moment to remind you that I have a plane to catch tomorrow? Diego! Camilla hugged her brother. I can't believe you're already leaving. 2 years pass quickly, sister. And when I come back, I want to find this place full of happy families, and you married to this doctor. Diego. Camilla blushed. What? It's obvious you're going to end up married. Sebastian practically lives in our house already. I don't live there, Sebastian protested. I just visit a lot. Every night, Diego added. And you have clothes in my sister's closet. Diego Restrepo, Camilla hit him on the arm. Okay. I'm just saying that when I come back from Barcelona, I hope to be an uncle. That night, after taking Diego to the airport, Sebastian and Camilla sat in the empty restaurant, planning the grand opening. Are you nervous? Sebastian asked her. Terrified. What if no one comes? What if they don't like the food? What if... Sebastian silenced her with a soft kiss. It's going to be perfect. And if it's not perfect, we'll fix it together. Together? Camila Restrepo, these past few months with you have been the best of my life. Every day I fall more in love with you, with your generosity, with your strength, with the way you make everyone feel special. Sebastian knelt down and pulled a small box from his pocket. Sebastian, I know it's too soon. I know we're just starting, but I also know that I want to spend the rest of my life with you. I want to build this life together, step by step, day by day. He opened the box to reveal a simple but beautiful ring. Will you marry me, Camila? Tears streamed down Camilla's cheeks. Are you sure? Aren't you afraid that people will think you're marrying someone inferior to you? The only thing I'm afraid of is the possibility of losing you again. You are the most extraordinary woman I have ever met, and if anyone can't see that, it's their problem. Yes, Camilla whispered. Yes, I want to marry you. Sebastian put the ring on her finger and kissed her as their happy tears mingled. A community's heart. The wedding and beyond, the opening of Heart and Soul was a resounding success. The news of the love story between the waitress and the doctor had spread throughout the city, and people came not only out of curiosity, but because they stayed for the homemade food and family atmosphere. 6 months later, in the small church where Camila's parents had been married, she walked down the aisle dressed in a simple white dress. Diego had returned from Spain especially for the wedding and walked her down the aisle. She's crazy about you, he whispered to Sebastian as he handed over his sister. And I'm crazy about her, Sebastian replied, taking Camilla's hands. In the first row were the patients from the free clinic Sebastian had opened next to the restaurant. In the other rows, restaurant employees, fellow doctors, and dozens of people whose lives they had touched in some way. Do you promise to love her in sickness and in health? The priest asked. I promise to love her more every day of my life, Sebastian replied. Do you promise to love him in poverty and in wealth? I promise to build a beautiful life by his side, no matter what comes, Camilla replied. When they kissed as husband and wife, the entire church erupted in applause. The reception was held at Heart and Soul, with tables full of homemade food that Camilla had prepared with her own hands. Guests danced late into the night, celebrating not just a wedding, but the triumph of true love. As Diego gave his best man speech, Sebastian and Camila looked at each other as if they were the only people in the world. "It all started with blood," Diego said, "but it turned into love. My sister has always had the biggest heart in the world, and Sebastian was lucky enough that she decided to share it with him." That night, when everyone had left, Sebastian and Camila remained alone in their restaurant, now decorated with wedding flowers. "Can you imagine?" Camila said. "If Diego hadn't had that accident, we would have met in a different way." Sebastian hugged her. "Fate always finds a way." And as they danced slowly among the empty tables, both knew that their love story was just beginning. A legacy of love and healing, too. Years had passed since the wedding that forever united Camila and Sebastian. Time had transformed not only their lives, but the entire community around them. "Sebastian!" Camila shouted from the kitchen of Heart and Soul. "Yes, Mr. Martinez is having chest pains again." Sebastian immediately left the file he was reviewing in the clinic and ran to the restaurant. At Sevendiv, Mr. Martinez was one of their most beloved customers, both at the restaurant and the clinic. "Easy, Mr. Martinez." Sebastian took his pulse while Camila brought him a glass of water. "Did you take your medication this morning?" "I forgot, doctor. My wife wasn't there to remind me." "Where's Mrs. Carmen?" Camila asked. "Dead. At the hospital, visiting her sister. That's why I came to lunch here alone." Sebastian and Camila exchanged a glance. They knew Mr. Martinez had been depressed since Mrs. Carmen spent more time caring for her sick sister. "You know what?" Camila said. "I'm going to prepare lunch for Mrs. Carmen, too, and Sebastian is going to accompany you to the hospital to make sure she's okay." "It's not necessary, dear." "Of course it's necessary," Sebastian interrupted. "You're family to us." As they prepared the takeout food, Diego entered in his doctor's uniform. He had returned from Barcelona 6 months ago and now worked in the clinic alongside Sebastian. "What happened?" he asked, seeing his sister's worried face. "Mr. Martinez forgot his medication again," Sebastian explained. "I'll go with you to the hospital," Diego said. "I also checked on Mrs. Carmen last week. Her sister is improving." Camila smiled, seeing the two most important men in her life working together to care for their neighbors. Her hand instinctively rested on her belly, where a small miracle was growing day by day. "Everything all right?" Sebastian asked, noticing her gesture. "Everything perfect," she replied with a smile. "Just thinking about how lucky we are." An hour later, when they returned from the hospital with good news about Mrs. Carmen's sister, Heart and Soul was full of customers for dinner. The family tables, young couples, university students nearby, all had made the restaurant their second home. Mrs. Camila, Rosa, her former colleague from Café Luna, who now worked with her, told her. "A couple came asking if they can celebrate their anniversary here next week." "Of course. How many years are they celebrating?" 50. They said this place reminds them of where they met. Camila smiled. Heart and Soul had become the place where couples got engaged, celebrated anniversaries, and created family memories. That night, after closing the restaurant and clinic, Camila, Sebastian, and Diego sat on the terrace of the apartment that Camila and Sebastian had built above the restaurant. "Do you know what day it is today?" Camila asked. "Friday," Diego replied, confused. "It's the 3rd anniversary of the blood donation," Sebastian said, taking his wife's hand. 3 years since a humble waitress decided to donate blood to save lives," Diego reflected. "And look at everything that happened afterward." "Sometimes I think about that night," Camila said. "I was so tired, so worried about you, but something told me I had to donate blood." "Fate," Sebastian said, "had to put us in each other's path." "Speaking of fate," Camila took a deep breath. "I have something to tell you." The two men looked at her expectantly. "I'm pregnant." The silence lasted barely a second before Diego shouted with joy, and Sebastian hugged her with tears in his eyes. "How long?" Sebastian asked. 2 months. "I wanted to be sure before telling you. I'm going to be an uncle." Diego couldn't contain his excitement. "And you two are going to be the best parents in the world." "Are you happy?" Camila asked Sebastian. "I'm more than happy." He kissed her softly. "I'm complete." That night, while Diego called all his university friends to tell them the news, Camila and Sebastian stayed on the terrace watching the city lights. "Can you imagine what we're going to tell our child about how we met?" Camila asked. "We're going to tell him that it all started because his mom had the biggest heart in the world," Sebastian replied. "And that sometimes, when you give without expecting anything in return, you receive more than you ever dreamed of." Downstairs, in the restaurant, the lights were still on. Through the windows, Rosa could be seen finishing cleaning the tables, preparing for another day of serving the community that had formed around Heart and Soul. In the adjacent clinic, medications were organized for the next day's patients, and medical records waited to be attended by 2 doctors who had learned that true medicine is not just about curing diseases, but about caring for people. "Do you know what the most beautiful thing about all this is?" Camila said, leaning on Sebastian's shoulder. "That it started with blood, continued with love, and now turns into new life." Sebastian placed his hand on Camila's belly. "And our baby will grow up surrounded by love, family, and the most beautiful community in the world. He'll know from a young age that the most important things in life aren't bought with money," Camila added. "They're earned with the heart." At that moment, as if he had heard their words, Diego came out onto the terrace. "You know what?" he was thinking. "When the baby is born, we should have a special ceremony." "What kind of ceremony?" Sebastian asked. "A family blood donation. All 3 of us. To celebrate how this story began, and to continue saving lives together." Camila and Sebastian looked at each other and smiled. "That sounds perfect," Camila said. "That way our baby will know from the beginning that being part of this family means giving without expecting anything in return, and that true love always finds a way into our lives," Sebastian added. The 3 hugged as the stars shone over Medellin. Downstairs, the city continued to live, breathe, creating new stories of love and hope. And in Heart and Soul, the place where it all began with a simple blood donation, the tables waited ready to receive more families, more couples, more people looking for a place to feel at home. Because in the end, that was the true magic of Camila and Sebastian's story. It wasn't just about their love, but about how their love had created a place where others could also find family, hope, and second chances. The circle was complete, but the story continued to be written every day, 1 table, 1 patient, 1 smile at a time.